What is your side hustle? Do you have one? It's so important. Don't let your talent or side business be left to waste. At the same time, if you're employed, be very careful about conflict of interest and don't let that make you lose your job. Now I'd like to talk about some of these opportunities that there are in terms of what you can do with your time. Are you good at public speaking, cooking? Are you good at acting, drama? Just think of what it is. What do people see you and say, oh, you're so good at this? They keep coming to you for advice. Are you good at business planning? Can you do people's business plan? These are all ways that you can use to earn additional income. Relationships are critical. You need to invest in relationships. Someone once said, surround yourself with enablers and rid yourself of disablers. It sounds a little mercenary, especially if some disablers are members of your family. So you've got to be conscious. Try to be with people that propel you forward, that motivate you, encourage you. We all know when we're around people that drain us. You don't want to spend so much time with people like that. Spend time with ambitious, motivated people and limit the time you spend with those that discourage you. Peer pressure is very, very real, especially in your generation. Our society is full of issues of conspicuous consumption. There's an obsession with impressing others. I implore you to just stay focused on your own path. You have your path written down, so don't be distracted by what others are doing. The Joneses are broke. They are so broke. And if you pursue the Joneses, you will end up broke. I'm seeing too many people, too many young people who have had this incredible education, but they're back home and dependent. You don't want to be like that for too long. I know things are difficult, there's a cost of living that's very high, but you owe it to yourself to earn your independence. And if you are from a wealthy background, you need to be particularly careful. With privilege comes many advantages, but there's also a huge disadvantage for many families where the wealthy parents are overindulging their youth, their young people. Now this makes you unemployable, it makes you unable to work hard, it makes you unable to sustain a job. So it might seem very nice to be born into wealth and to have so much largesse, but it can destroy your future. So for parents who have a lot of wealth, be very, very careful. And for the young people here with young families, as you create wealth, just remember that. You find that many of the most successful people all over the world were not born into wealth. So you've got to be careful to ensure that you don't damage your children while you're trying to give them the best that you can and better than what you had yourself. So be mindful of privilege and overindulgence and earn your independence. After the wedding comes the marriage. I've been to so many weddings in the recent past and it's quite staggering, huge weddings. And sadly, within a year or two, it's all over. So it's like we're very, very consumed by that day and not much thought has gone into time afterwards. Are you in a serious long-term relationship? The choice of your spouse is the most important decision that you can ever make. It is so important to take that decision very, very seriously. For the ladies here, for the young ladies, I know you are under incredible pressure. As soon as you finish your youth corps, aunties and uncles, where is he? Where is he? Where's the ring? What's happening? Please don't feel pressured. It is so important that you find the person with the right values that match yours, that you can work this path together. Money matters are the leading source of friction, separation, and divorce across the world, not just here in Nigeria. So you don't want to make that mistake. We've talked about overindulging children. What do you owe your children? You owe your children the best education that you can afford, not the best education that your friends can afford, because you run into trouble. If everybody is sending their children to a particular school and you can't afford it, the best education starts from home, not in school. So do be conscious of following your own path. You owe your children the non-material aspects of life: love, affection, attention, respect, and the unconditional acceptance of who they are. Teach your children about money as early as you possibly can. It's important they begin to understand the value of money. Pocket money, chores, allowances, vacation jobs, these are things that you should start as early as possible. It's so important that they work during the holidays. Even the youngest children can find something to do and just earn a bit of money. You'll find that your children will treat the money that they earn very differently from the money that you give them. So just remember that they will spend all your money, but they will save theirs. So try to make them do some work during the holidays. I've tried this and it really works. That once my children just asked for, they want 5,000 to hang out at the mall or whatever. And my husband said that everybody had to be employed by Monday. So, of course, they called all their uncles and aunties. There are places they can work, in a bookshop, in a shop. They can help to file, they can help with the computers. They're all so great, this generation of IT. When they got their 10,000 every month, or whatever it was, we said, okay, now you can go and hang. Guess what they said? Do you know how hard we worked for this money? I mean, there's no way they were, because they knew what they've done, how many hours they spent working for that money. There's no way they were going to do that. Now, investing is a conscious decision. It's about making plans for the future, owning your first property, educating your children, investing in a business, planning for retirement, having a long-term sustainable impact. It's about thinking long-term. How many of you invested in the MMM? Please don't tell me if you did. Please don't. If something sounds too good to be true, guess what? It's too good to be true. If people are offering 18% per annum and somebody offers 30% per month, please run away, just run away. And MMM that one is gone, but I know that there are new ones all the time. So just because, and of course the first few people who jump into a scam, maybe they make some good, but very soon they disappear and they've gone to the next country, some other one is here. Don't get caught out. It's all about having a plan, discipline, consistency, and focus. Investing takes time. Very few people will win a lottery. Very few people will inherit a fortune. The majority of us, it's from sheer hard work and being consistent. You need to understand how much risk you can tolerate. Every investment comes with risk, but some are more risky than others. Stocks have the highest level of risk. Well, in terms of the four most common investment opportunities are cash, money, stocks, bonds, real estate. Of course, there are business interests, there's commodities and so on, which are very high risk. But we're talking primarily about stocks, bonds, cash, property. Risk can be managed, and the best way to manage risk is by diversifying. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to have money in different asset classes. You'll have some cash, you'll have some stocks, you'll have some bonds, have some property, probably invest in some businesses. You cannot have all your money in stocks, neither can you have all your money in cash. It's so important that we do this, because if you put everything in one stock asset class, for example, and the market tumbles, then you've lost everything. Or if your property is all in one location and there's a problem in that particular area, you get no rent. So it's important to have a diversified portfolio. When you're investing, it's so important to seek professional advice, because there you have professionals that can guide you. They'll look at your own situation, your age, your stage, your financial situation, and determine the best asset profile for you. I love mutual funds, and particularly for young people who are just starting out, because you don't need huge amounts of money to get into the stock market. Some of the mutual funds we have here start from 5,000 naira. So if you can set out a certain amount of money every month and put that in the stock in the mutual fund. Again, there are different types of funds. There are stock funds, there are money market funds, there are balanced funds, there are bond funds. And you determine what is best for you, and then start to invest. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to speed up a bit. Investing in the stock market gives you dividend income, capital gains. It can be a hedge, but it's over the long term. The biggest mistake most people make is they invest in stocks today thinking that they will get the returns next week. No, I'm talking about 5 years and beyond. So money you need next month or next year should not be in the stock market. You can lose your money. Now, real estate is another fantastic investment. It's usually about location. And don't think that you have to have a huge amount of money to get on the ladder. Just start. You can start with a plot of land. What are the government plans for a particular area in the city? Maybe far away. It doesn't mean you have to live on the property, but real estate is one of the most powerful investments that you can invest in. Start small, but just get started. It provides rental income, capital appreciation. You owe it to yourself, even though you seek professional advice, to develop your knowledge, like events like this, where you take it on yourself to try to improve yourself. You have to understand what you're investing in, so that people can't scam you so easily. Invest in regulated products, invest with regulated institutions. Don't just invest somewhere because your cousin or brother works there. The central bank, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the stock exchange, they regulate the environment. So be very careful with your choices. Now, after you have built wealth and you're creating wealth, protect your assets with insurance. Your property, I'm sure if I take a poll here, most people have third-party insurance on their car. It's important to insure your assets properly, especially now that the naira has lost so much value. Your assets are underinsured, so if you try to replace your car, you'll find that the premium you're paying cannot cover a new car. Your house, have you valued it properly? Maybe you valued it a year ago, but if you had to replace some of those assets to be so different. Your insurance involves your health, your life. If you have a young family and you're the primary breadwinner, what if something happens and you can't work? You want to have insurance, educational insurance, life insurance to take care of your family during that period. And health insurance, I said before, just one bad illness can turn the tide from riches to rags. Retirement, it sounds ridiculous talking about retirement to a young audience, but you're going to spend about a third of your life in retirement, so you have to plan for it from your first job. Your pension that you pay every month does not support you in retirement. It's going to be the stocks, the bonds, the property that you invest in. Now, it sounds odd as well talking about death when many of you are just starting out. But there are some triggers that must happen to make you think that you must write a will or have an estate plan. Are you getting married, divorced, remarried? Do you have children? Are you starting a business? Is there a significant change in assets? Is there a health scare? You need to have an estate plan. It's such a huge problem for us that many people don't have any plan, and things happen and suddenly their family is in total distress. even though they had a huge plan for their family in terms of what they wanted to happen. Joint accounts, life insurance, wills, trusts, these are all tools that you can use, and you owe it to your family. If you don't, the court determines what happens to your assets. I know a lovely family, they had 2 children. The parents both died in a car crash, and neither of them had a will. The court decided to send them to their illiterate grandparents in the village. They were living in Lagos and went to a private school here. That was not what the parents would have wanted. They would have preferred them to have a guardian. A will helps you to choose a guardian in your lifetime that will take care of your young children. Another family, many Nigerian men put their next of kin as brother instead of their wife. Maybe it was a traditional thing that hasn't changed, but it has to change. So next of kin brother, this young man put his father as next of kin. He wasn't married. And he forgot about it, because many times in companies, the next of kin form is just forgotten about. It should be reviewed every year. He then got a job in a top bank, had 3 children, and then died after a brief illness. His next of kin was his father, who had 8 children and 2 wives. The company gave his entire entitlements to his father. So you can imagine, his children did not get very much. So it's a very morbid thought, but you do need to consider it when you have people that are depending